What's up everyone, Jason Turley here, back with another video. We are once again looking at the dang vulnerable web application from OWASP. Today's vulnerability that we'll tackle is the file upload vulnerability and how to exploit it. You can look over here on the left hand side and see the other vulnerabilities. We've already knocked out command injection and file inclusion. Today we'll be going over file upload, but we still have a lot more to cover. We can see here this little red box, alert box, it's telling us that the PHP module GD is not installed. No idea what that means, but it's not relevant to what we need, I would imagine. So choose an image to upload, and then there's this browse button, this navigation button, and then upload. We see two links for more information if we want to read up on these vulnerabilities and perhaps how to exploit them. But let's scroll down and we see two buttons here, one to view the source code of this page and the other to view the help. I like to get started by looking at the help menu, what's going on, and what do we need to do. So uploaded files represent a significant risk to web applications. The first step in many attacks is to get some code to the system to be attacked. Then the attacker only needs to find a way to get the code executed. Using a file upload helps the attacker accomplish the first step. The consequences of unrestricted file upload can vary, including complete system takeover, an overloaded file system, forwarding attacks to backend systems, and simple defacement. Defacement is just changing the contents on a website. So perhaps instead of it being like, I don't know, Wikipedia.com or Google.com, you can deface it, right, and upload memes and stuff like that. So anytime anyone browses to that website, it's totally vandalized. So it depends on what the application does with the uploaded file, including where it is stored. So essentially all this is saying is we can upload files, right? This isn't necessarily malicious, just being able to upload a file. You can do this on SharePoint, you can do this on social media. It's good to upload files, PDFs, images, stuff like that. That's normal. But what if we can upload PHP code, right? Some type of executable code that the backend server will understand that we can use to either get some type of reverse shell, some type of remote access to the system, or we can just upload a simple web shell and run our own commands and just enumerate the system. So if that made no sense, don't worry. We'll be walking through different examples and hopefully highlight some of those concepts today. So let's get started. Actually, we didn't finish reading this, did we? What's the objective? Execute any PHP function, okay, yeah, of your choosing on the target system, such as PHP info or system, and it even gives us like a little hyperlink. We can click on those. So system, execute an external program and display the output. So this is just a way to run commands on a system, right? ls, hostname, who am I? Those are very basic ones. You could be malicious and upload some type of ransomware or a remote access tool, or as I said earlier, website defacement. So it's just a way to remotely access this system. So let's click here on browse. Okay, I'm in this var www html DVWA hackable folder users, and these are just some images. So we see them here, right? They pop up in this little corner. These came pre-installed when I set up this system. And again, if you need help setting it up, refer to my first video that I put out a few weeks ago. Let's just upload this one, admin.jpg, hit open and upload. All right, so that worked. It says successfully uploaded, and it gives us the full file path of where it's stored on the system. We can copy it. I like to just duplicate this tab. And then instead of having a pound symbol there, let's paste in our file path. And just like that, we have this surprised, shocky face. So it works. We're able to upload images, but can I upload some type of PHP code and execute it? So I have my little folder here, DVWA stuff. Let me make this nice and big. So I was playing around earlier with different file extensions and different naming conventions, but what we're going to upload is this, the backup.php file, right? Let's cat it out. So this is just a very simple web shell, right? It runs system, and we want to pass it the parameter CMD, short for command. You can change this up, right? If this was an external pen test or an external facing web application, we wouldn't want this just to be CMD because any hacker could probably find this pretty easily and exploit it. So maybe we want to like make it into like a hash and have this be our parameter instead of CMD, but we're not going to do that for today's video. So let's go here, browse. All right, where was that stored? Home, Kali, DVWA stuff, backup.php. Let's open that, click upload, and nice, backup.php was successfully uploaded. Let's once again grab this, copy. You don't have to duplicate the tab, but I just like having this on uploads folder here, and then having the directory or the file we want over here. Okay, so we have a blank screen. That's because I never passed it the parameter. So do question mark CMD equals, and then whatever command you want to run. Let's start with who am I? Www data. Okay, we can do ID. Oops, ID. All right, here's my user ID, my group ID, and the groups I'm in. And we can just enumerate the system, right? PS, EF, stuff like that, see what's running. This looks ugly, so hit Control U, and that makes it a nice, pretty output. So we have remote code execution. We can now move on to like lateral enumeration, see what other hosts are in this network. We can try to escalate our privileges, but this is just my host machine. This is my VM, so there's nothing really to do. So the security level is low. Let's change this now to medium. We're going to walk up to medium and high. Come back to file upload, and let's just see if we can do the exact same thing. Browse, upload that PHP script, upload. Your image was not uploaded. We can only accept JPEG or PNG files. Okay, let's try this again. And so you have a few more extensions, a few more options here, right? So let's try this one. Let's do php.jpg. You can see the little icon has changed. It's the same exact file, or file contents rather, right? Cat, which one? This one. These are all the exact same, right? Same file size, same hash, everything. Just the name, the file extension is changed. Sometimes these systems will only check that file extension and nothing else. So let's see if we can upload this. Nice, that uploaded successfully. So let's grab this, copy. Yeah, let's just do it here. Slam that in. Ooh. So can you guys see that? The image and then the URL, backup.php.jpg, cannot be displayed because it contains errors. Interesting. Let's make note of this for later on. But for now, let's come back here. So we did php.jpg. Let's see if we can do jpeg.php. Does it like that? Open. No, your image was not uploaded. We can only accept JPEG or PNG images. If we want, we can look at the source code, see what's going on, but I don't want to do that just yet. So let's get this set up and let's use a proxy. One of the most well-known proxies is Burp Suite, right? It's a tool that will sit in between your client, like your browser, and then the back-end server. And all your requests are going to go through this proxy, and you can edit it and modify and change your requests. And it's really good to test out and see what's going on with every single packet you send. So this is getting started. Okay, without a date, that's fine. Come over here to proxy, turn the intercept on. And now you want to configure your browser. I'm using Firefox to proxy everything through Burp Suite. You can do this easily by going over here, settings, search for network, and then manually add the proxies here. I'm going to click on no proxy. That's one way to do it. It's a lot easier and simpler to install this extension called Foxy Proxy and then just customize it to have Burp Suite. So you can just toggle these on and off like this. So now I'm using Burp Suite. Now if I click browse, let's upload this one, the one that failed. Open, hit upload, and it automatically loads Burp Suite, right? It pulls this up, it pulls up this request. This is exactly the contents of what I'm sending to the web server. We see a post request, which means upload something, right? Usually we're used to GET requests, like retrieve a web page or download a file, but this is a post request, meaning put something on the file system, right? We want to upload a file, so that makes sense. Here's the path, localhost, our user agent string, right? Not really important. Here's a little boundary, right? We see the same boundary repeated here, just to help delineate the beginning and end of our message. Okay, where's the juicy stuff? Where do we want? All right, right here, in between these two boundary tags, we see our file name, backup.jpeg.php, and we also see this content type. What is that? This is a parameter. It's a way of the web server knowing what type of file you are trying to upload. And it's telling us, hey, they're trying to upload a PHP file. They're kind of snitching on us in a way. This gives it away. We're not trying to let them know we're uploading a PHP file. We want them to think we're uploading some type of image file. So if I come back, let me forward this request. Okay, send it on. Now let's upload that JPEG file that we saw earlier. We can just do this one. Or no, let's do a legit image. var dub HTML DVWA hackable users. Let's do Smithy. Open, upload. It pulls up burp. So this is a lot different, right? We see all this garbage. All this garbage. This is the raw output of an image file. Burp Suite can't display it. It can't represent it. That's something your browser or your image editor will do, your image displayer. But here, this time the content type is image/JPEG. And this will work. If I hit forward and come back here, we see that Smithy was successfully uploaded. So this program, however it's encoded on the back end, it might either be looking at the content type. Where is it at? It's probably looking at the content type and the extension. We can play around, try to fuzz things, but let's keep it nice and simple. So let's go to our original one. I don't want to open it. Right click, send to repeater. Now over here, we can just mass send things. We can edit it. So I can send, and here's the response, right? My request, the thing that I made, is on the left, and the server's response is here on the right-hand side. You can scroll down. This is all just the HTML and the formatting. We don't really need to be concerned with that. Where's it at? Here we go. Your image was not uploaded. We can only accept JPEG or PNG images. So that's the same error code we saw before. So even though we have a JPEG extension in here, our content type is incorrect. So let's edit this image JPEG. Now let's hit send. Okay, it brought us back to the top. Let's scroll back down to line 86 or so. Scrolling. There we go. So this was successfully uploaded. So we can grab that, slam that in here. Oh, I still have my proxy on. So let's turn off this proxy real quick. Intercept is off. Come back here. So it looks like it worked. CMD equals, I don't know, echo LOL. Nice. It printed LOL. I can still do ID. So this worked. This method of getting a web shell on target worked. We just needed to change that content type. Scroll back here. Now we did medium. Let's change this to the hard difficulty. Submit. Nice. We're on high. Okay, let's turn our proxy back on. Intercept is on. Let's try to do that same exact method we just did, because perhaps nothing has changed, right? So home, Cali. Where's it at? This one. Upload. All right, send this to repeater. Okay, you see number 2 here. This is my second, I guess, occurrence. You can see in the first one, where is it at? My cookie, the security setting is medium, whereas in the second one, the security setting is high. So let's change this. Image, JPEG. All right, everything else is exactly identical to this one. The boundary changed, but that's okay. That's not relevant. Hit send. Scroll down to line 86, just like before. Your image was not uploaded. So what's going on? When it was on Medium, it accepted backup.jpg, .php, and all we had to do was change this content type. But it's not working now. Why is that? If we come back here, go to browse, and we do php.jpg, right? The one that ends in JPEG. So the system, at least this file explorer, right? It sees this as an image. That's why it has this little icon. Whereas it thinks these are PHP code. I mean, it is, but so let's upload this. Because remember when we uploaded this, it worked, but we got an error. Upload. Okay. It's hanging because we're waiting for this proxy. Okay. Right click, send a repeater, forward, come here. It says it was not uploaded. ... Okay. So before it gave us this error message, right? This is because it's expecting a JPEG file, an image, a picture, but we gave it PHP code and it doesn't know how to properly display it. So let's see if we can leverage the file inclusion vulnerability that we saw in a previous video. So I come out here and I go to the file inclusion tab and I change my page to file. My setting is still on the hard difficulty or the high difficulty. var www HTML DVWA hackable uploads the file path, right? php.jpg and cmd equals, I don't know, ls. Does that work? It doesn't like that. ID? Okay, it's not executing. So perhaps it's not enough to just have the, where's it at? Go to repeater. Perhaps it's not enough just to change this image slash JPEG in the file extension. You might need the actual contents as well. Let's go back to our proxy, history. Where did we upload that image? Is that in here? Yeah, so send this one to repeater. See all this garbage here. We want to keep the first 2 lines because that is the actual signature that lets applications know that this is a JPEG. But everything else, we can delete this. Scroll down. We don't need any of that. Let's slam in our web shell. Copy, paste it in there. We could leave this smithy.jpg, or we can just name it update.jpg or shell.jpg. Hit send, scroll down. So that was successfully uploaded. Uploads update.jpg. So let's come back here. Probably turn off the proxy. Intercept. All right, it's already off. That's good. Update.jpg and ampersand cmd equals ID. Okay, we still get all this garbage. That's the signature of the JPEG, right? To let the system know that this is a JPEG file. But right here, we get the output of our ID command. And we can change this to who am I, or ls. So I could just do a current working directory. We see that here. So we did it. We were able to get remote file execution. So that worked. That was super cool. And if we just want to clean up, or they even have like the spoilers and stuff like that. But if we want to clean this up, let's go into var www HTML DVWA. We can list what we have here. We want the hackable directory. And inside the hackable directory, we see those users from earlier. All right, so that's neat. And we also have the uploads folder. So ls like LA there. So here's all the files that we uploaded. Let me do a better ls. All right, so these ones here is what we uploaded, and we can just simply delete them to start over for next time if we want to practice this again. But that's how I solved it. That's how I knocked out these challenges. You don't have to use Burp Suite. You don't have to use a proxy, but it does make it easier, and especially if you're just learning to visualize it. One thing I did not do is we did not look at the source code. So let's do that now. Compare all levels. Just for learning, right? This is extra credit. This is bonus knowledge. Just to look at the under the hood PHP source code that runs on this web server. Oh, this is for the file inclusion. We don't want that. Let's go here, file upload, view source, make big, compare all levels. Okay, so there's a lot of source code here. Let's scroll down to the bottom to look at the low one, and then we'll work our way up. So opening PHP tag, it checks that the upload parameter is set. Okay. Where are we going to write this file to? Hackable uploads. All right, we saw that directory right here. This is where it's storing everything. It gets the file name. It checks if it can move it to the correct directory, and if it can't, it prints out an error message. Otherwise, it says successful. But it does no type of security checks. It does no type of input validation. So that's why here we're just able to upload the .php file web shell, and that's all we needed. Now for the medium security, the preamble at the beginning is the same, but here it does check for some file information. It gets the name, it gets the type of file it is, also known as the MIME type, right? That's a Googleable term, MIME type. Oh, I think my, what's it called? My Burp Suite certificate is messing some stuff up. So I'll have to edit that later on. But anyway, where was I at? Yeah, so it checks the type here, that the image is /JPEG or /PNG. And it also checks the file size. So I couldn't upload some giant file. What is this? 100 megabytes? 1 megabyte? Something like that. So you can't upload too big of a file. Our file was relatively small. Right? If I do ls like h, ls like lh, back up, Jesus Christ. It was only 31 bytes. So well under the size limit here. So that's it. For the medium, it only checks those two things. It doesn't check the extension. So that didn't matter. It only checks this MIME type, the content type that we saw in Burp Suite. So if you change that, you're good to go. Let's see. What does the hard one do? Okay. It checks the name, the extension, the size, and some type of temp name. So stir pose, so string position. So go to the first dot you see. These extensions are usually file name, dot something else. So go to the first dot you see, and then make sure that it's either JPEG, JPEG with an E, or PNG. Also the file size and whatever this temp variable means here. So we were trying to do a lot of, let's see, where's it at? Looks like LA. We're trying to do backup.jpeg.php or .php.jpeg. That didn't work. We couldn't full it. We only needed a .jpeg. However, when we do that, the system doesn't know what to do. We're like, hey, you said you gave me a PHP file. Or here, I think it's still there. No, I already deleted it. Never mind. You get the point. It's saying you gave me an image, a JPEG. However, when I try to execute it, this isn't a real JPEG because it's a web shell. So that's when we had to leverage the file inclusion vulnerability from the previous video to execute it. So just like the help menu said from before, right? You have one method to upload the file, and then you have another method to execute it. So that's it. That's how I solved it. That's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below if you were able to solve this any other way, any tips or tricks you gleaned from this stuff. As always, take it easy and see you guys in the next video.